So are you considering going into the network field, IT, networking, security, or anything like that? So here's kind of a couple of things to consider. I'm going to go through in this video a few of the pros and cons and maybe kind of help you make the decision if it's for you, if it's not for you. So anyway, stay tuned to the end. And hey, please take a second, click on that like, the subscribe, comment down below. Be sure to share these videos with your friend and leave me any comments down in the comment field. Anyway, we will get started as soon as we roll the intro.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.
And of course, we always start these videos with the basics. Coffee. Hey guys, so you want to be a network engineer. You can see around me, this is the time a lot of times you'll be getting to leave in the middle of the night, early in the morning. You will be on call, so there's a lot of times you're having to leave at 2, 3 in the morning. This particular day I got to be all the way across town, like an hour and a half, 2 hours away by like 4:45 in the morning. So you're going to get a lot of background like this, leaving weird hours of the night, because you got to do these network changes. A lot of people want them when there's less business impact. So things to think about. So a few of the pros of networking, one of them, a lot of the time when you're working on your configs, you're working on different things like that, a certain amount of your work can be done from home. That means there's a certain amount of days you can, remote from home. A lot of your trouble tickets you can remote into the switch to, fix things. So, I would say 60%, 70% of your stuff can be managed from home. So if you like that flexibility of being able to remote from home, sometimes though things can't be done from home. So you are going to have a certain amount. Let's say one of the G-Bics that the cables hook into go out. I mean, you got to physically put your hands on that. A switch goes down, you can't remote in it. Guess what? You're driving to that site. You're also going to have a rotation. In most cases, there's a rotation. They split between the guys for about once a month. You're on call. And, if a switch goes down in the middle of the night or something, you can't remote into it, at 2 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock at night, 12, you're having to drive wherever it is. Like, we're in the DFW area, so I'm on the far west side of Fort Worth, and so if one of the hospitals on the far east side of Dallas go down, guess what? I get to drive 2 hours, 2.5 hours away to go to the hospital to do that, and take care of whatever you need to, and if it's a stack or a switch down, you got to configure it, so you're going to be there a while. So anyway, those are all things to consider. The pros of it are there's a certain amount of stuff you can remote from home, though. Downside is you can't do that with all of it. Sometimes if an AP goes down, you got to go out there and physically change out the AP. If a switch in a stack goes down, you got to physically switch that out. So now, as far as, the money and everything, the money's great, and that's what, even when people get burned out, that's what keeps them coming into the business is, usually when you start out, you got to gain that experience, take whatever networking jobs. That's any field, but, you may have to take some $20 an hour jobs or something like that. But, you're going to find as you get in there, as you're starting at a level 1, it's, probably going to be, mid-20s to 30. And then, you're going to get raises every year. And then, as your experience builds up, maybe at your company you're with, or you may be finding another position at a company, which, pays more, but you can easily bump it up to 30, 35, 40, in a relatively short amount of time per hour. And then, you can get some of the jobs I had, paid $100,000 a year. And, a lot of that has to do with you just need to be focusing on that and studying and getting the certs, not only the CCNA, that's kind of a beginning cert, but going and getting your CCNP. And, if you can, any of those really bump up your pay. You get a CCNP and you can go somewhere for 110, 130, 1,000 a year. Getting your CCIE, you can jump that up to anywhere from 150, 175 to 200,000 a year. I mean, there's a lot of room for growth. So, you're not going to start at the top of the rung, most likely. You're going to have to kind of work your way up, gain experience. But as you get in there, and now you've got 8 years, 10 years experience, you got all these certs, you got different stuff that you can do. Also working on different switches. One of the things I've noticed lately is there's a lot of places. It used to be Cisco was just everything, but now, Cisco's just one of them. They want Juniper, they want Fortinet, they want Palo Alto, they want, Ruckus. Nobody wants to train anymore. It's a problem with our society. Nobody wants to train anymore. They want to steal talent from other companies. This is a common theme around all of them. It used to be they took you in, they groomed you the way they want, they raised you up, they, did all that. But now these places want, years of experience in Ruckus, Fortinet, Juniper, all that. Well, sometimes, like in myself, I come from a Cisco shop where we use a lot of Cisco equipment. So there's still some out there, but I've noticed probably 80% of them just want to freaking steal people from the thing, and they don't want to put the time into training, which is kind of a flunk on the company. And it's because of them getting so many boards of directors, and everybody wants their little cushy bonus and so everybody, one of the problems with our society is people used to, and especially in IT, they used to train people. They would take them if they needed them to know Palo Alto. They put them in for the training in Palo Alto. They did it. Nowadays, what they look for is some other company that was willing to invest that time in them, and they just want to make them a better offer and steal that talent from that company. So that's the other end of the spectrum. If you are, a company doing it, when you put somebody through that training and get them trained, you need to have that reflect in their pay once they've got that training, that cert and stuff like that. So that's the failure of some companies, is they put you in for that training, have you working on that equipment, and they don't necessarily look at the market value for somebody with that, which is part of the problem why that occurs. But anyway, it's something that gets real frustrating when you're looking at it as IT people, because, you're sitting there looking, you're a network engineer, you're good at what you do, but no, I haven't physically worked on Fortinet stuff. So you don't have experience in it, bam, knocks you out of freaking 80% of the jobs that want you to have all that stuff. So all I can say is, if you can, it's good to not just get all your certifications and Cisco stuff, get them in, be studying also Palo Alto, be studying Juniper, be studying FortiGate, be studying all these different companies. That's going to make you a lot more marketable, a lot more attractive to different companies, and reflect in your pay as well. So don't pigeonhole yourself and limit you to just one brand that you're working on. So, hey, you may be going, well, how do I get started? How do I get experience without working someplace? And everybody wants experience. So here's what I was told by my business counselor that, when I was in college. Your best thing to do when you get out there started, don't worry so much about money, get anywhere you can. She said, work at like a geek squad or something to get some experience. It may be like a field service, a help desk or something like that, to be gaining you some experience in the field. Another good place, and I did that. I went from Geek Squad. I went to another place working. Then I went to, some of the IT staffing places. That's another good place to start. Get set up with some of them out there. I'm not going to mention your name, but if you just look up IT staff, and there's a bunch of companies out there, and what they do is go find people who are wanting talent, and then they find IT people to fill those holes. And that's a great way to get experience. It's not going to pay you a lot. You know, you're probably going to make, you know, anywhere from, you know, 18, 19, 20, you know, you're going to make what you make at it, because they're paying them a lot more to send you out there. But it's a great place to build up that couple of years experience. Then you have all those things to put on your resume. So then once you're getting at that, you can start looking at, you know, different companies. You know, everybody's got IT stuff. So, you know, you got your just about any place. Just start looking around at places. And sometimes some of the positions, even working with those staffing places, they may have you a 3-month contract to hire, you know, where, you know, you go work at some place that's a good company and you work there a couple of months and work your butt off, and they, you know, take you on full time. And, you know, I've gotten the job I have now originally I got through one of those companies. So those are always, I would think, kind of probably one of the best bets, because they can talk to you, find out where you're at, and find clients who, and don't just work with one, you know, call a couple of them, because, you know, you got to get your networking out there as much as you can. So, and then eventually, after you kind of build up the experience, if you can get on with an ISP, or so some of the jobs I had, like I've worked at, you know, with ISP providers and different ones, making over $100,000 a year. But keep in mind, when you go to one of them, it's definitely going to be drinking water from a fire hydrant. They use every technology going across. You start learning about dark fiber. You know, they use Nokia, AWS. They, you know, you've got Juniper, you've got F5 load balancers. You got, you know, you got a lot of different technologies. They use just about everything, and spanning that network across the world. So anyway, they're a great place to learn, and, you know, you'll make good money while you're learning it, but it's stressful because you got to learn all that kind of at the same time and put it all together. So big learning curve, but, you know, if you can hang in there and get good at it, they're great places to work for. Then if you can get in some entry level, like network engineer level 1, or just some kind of job that doesn't require quite the experience, those are great places for your career to go up, because once you're in there, you can apply from within, and they've all got positions all the way from new to, you know, people with years of experience. So that's kind of the path I would go to get experience, is most likely stick with the staffing companies at first, and then try to take whatever they can get you on there to gain your experience, and then start looking for some of the more contract to permanent, you know. You know, certifications are expensive, and that's just something that you're going to have to kind of keep up with. Companies used to pay for that, but they've gotten so outrageous, and since companies let it happen and don't enforce, I mean, some of them are just getting stupidly expensive. But certifications are important to keep up with. One, they, you know, increase your value. They look a lot better on a resume when you have the different certifications and stuff. You know, if you find yourself between jobs and trying to go to it, sometimes even your unemployment, like I know here in Texas, they got a WIA program. It used to be what it was called, Workforce Initiative Act. And, you know, you could tell them what you're needing to do, but where you're kind of lacking in it. And a lot of the time you have to jump through some hoops. But, you know, I had one of the periods of times in unemployment, they helped pay for about 6, 7 of my certs, sent me to school and, you know, to the boot camps for that company. And part of that package was actually getting the certs from it. I probably got 3, 4 of my certs from that. So check out all your resources when you're trying to gain these, and take advantage of the downtimes, and use that as an area to come back stronger next time around. So network engineering is not easy either. Sometimes you walk into closets that look like this, and your job is to go from this to looking like this. And that doesn't happen by itself. It's a lot of hard work and time consuming. A lot of the time, you know, things have to be taken offline, you know, so a lot of this has to be done overnight. So you may be in there all night long until early morning. So anyway, you know, there's there's a lot to it. There's a lot of hard work involved. Sometimes it's nice, you can remote from home, but other times it is a lot of work getting these set up. But it's a good feeling when you make it go from looking like this to looking like this. Some troubleshooting tickets and everything are pretty common, basic things you do. Some of the issues you run into are like looking for a needle in a haystack. But there's something new to learn every day. So overall, network engineering is a great field to be in. It will, especially after you get some experience, it will pay the bills. It will, you can make, the money you need to live on. It does provide a good quality of life. You just really got to be smart at how you do it. And there's a lot of perks with being able to remote at home. So overall, it's a great, I think one of the best fields to be in. But you got to really be the right frame of mind. You got to be willing to not, be one that don't mind going out in the middle of the night and doing the changes in the nighttime sometime, and being on call, and we're 24/7. You're the guy that has to take care of stuff. So if you can handle that, it's a good field to be in. Because unfortunately, whatever you choose, you got to make the money. And I'm not motivated by money, but I'm more motivated than I am motivated at not being able to pay my bills. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like these videos, please check out some of the other videos down in the bottom feeder there. And I tell you what, if you want, one of the videos I recently did was on this new wallet that I bought. You can check that out in the video down below. Real cool wallet, zip up front pocket wallet so it doesn't mess up your back when you're riding around. Anyway, check it out. If you want one, I put a link down in the description below on how to get to it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.